Times 2 podcast hosted by sisters Denise and Deborah. We are all about finding balance in the various parts of life. Using the wheel of life as our guide, we explore how to keep each spoke rolling smoothly, from health and wellness to finances, education to relationships and spirituality, as well as mental and emotional growth. Join us for real conversations, practical tips, and a few laughs as we share stories, insights, and strategies to help you create a life that feels balanced, purposeful, and designed by you. Okay, welcome. Welcome, Dr. Smith.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
It's good to see you this morning.
Thank you.
How you doing, Deborah?
I'm good.
Good.
And welcome, Dr. Smith, also known as Dad.
Yes.
We'll refer to you as both.
Yes, yes.
But in this interview, you're Dr. Smith.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be a doctor.
It's in your pores, I think.
It is.
Deep, yes. So, Dr. Smith, have you been up to anything fun lately?
Sure. I have a hobby.
What's that?
I make rugs.
Rugs.
Rugs
Nice.
with a technique that's called twining.
Twining.
It's different than weaving. It's more complicated and more permanent. And I enjoy doing it.
Good. So you're making a rug right now?
Yes.
What colors are your rug? Is your rug?
I have 6 colors, with different designs on the current rug I'm making. And there are many different colors. There's not a dominant color, but it's darker.
You tend to use really nice material when you make rugs.
I use material that's called batik. The reason I use that is because it's colored on both sides the same. So I don't have to worry about keeping the one side up.
Oh,
That's
I
nice.
didn't know that. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's why I do it.
Is this rug for anybody in particular, or are you just making it?
I never know who I'm going to give it to until it's done. I look at it.
Oh, very nice. That's great.
Probably somebody I love.
Probably. You've made probably, I don't know, 25, 30
Or
rugs
more.
or more, right?
Yes.
That's awesome.
And probably the same amount of quilts. But right now I'm not working on a quilt.
Yes, you do quilts. You make great quilts.
So in your bio, it said you're semi-retired.
That's correct.
That's what you do when you're on your playtime.
That's right. I make rugs and quilts.
Nice.
Playtime, recreation time. Nice. Very good. Okay, so we have some questions for you today because we know lots about you, but we'd like to introduce you to the rest of the world. In your life, your professional life, you were a chiropractor.
That's correct.
What inspired you to become a chiropractor?
That's kind of a long story, but I'll keep it short.
Okay.
When I was 16, I went to Alaska with a bunch of Eagle Scouts. We spent a long time with officers in the Air Force. So I thought I would go in the Air Force. I also was an Eagle Scout and did many things in scouting. So I thought I might do scouting also. But I had a blessing that told me I'd make my living with my hands. At first, I thought I would be a carpenter.
Carpenter. Okay.
And finally, we were in Canada helping Audrey's mom with a rest home. And
Audrey is your wife.
that's correct.
Yeah.
And we had 2 separate rest homes with about 10 people 24/7. We had to give them the drugs, we had to feed them, and I was very amazed at how sick they were and how many drugs they had to take. And basically, they had all had major medical problems. One day, I was sitting in a chiropractor's office in Powell River, British Columbia, watching people come and go, and I was impressed that I could make a living doing what he was doing. And we prayed about it and decided chiropractic was the answer. I really didn't know anything about it other than a few contacts I had. And so we packed up eventually and moved to Davenport, Idaho, and I became a chiropractic student, and I've enjoyed the concept of chiropractic for many, many years.
And what concept of chiropractic is that? Like what? There are different schools that teach different things. What concept stood out to you the most?
I think the major overriding concept is the idea that the power that made the body is the power that heals the body, not lotions, potions, drugs, or surgery. And when I went to school, I decided with my background as a farmer that I would learn every technique I could learn. So I went to many, many seminars and learned different techniques from different chiropractic colleges. Some I decided I would never use, and some I thought I would use very often, depending on what the patient needed.
So you didn't just use one technique. I know some chiropractors just use one technique in their office, and there are several, but you used whatever technique you felt would best help your patient.
That's correct. And when people moved away, they said, we would like to find a chiropractor that does your technique.
You said good luck.
Yeah, I would say there are none, but I'll refer you to the one that I think does what you need.
That's great.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. We kind of did that in our massage therapy practices. We used multiple techniques, whatever the person's body needed. So thank you for that example.
You're welcome.
Proved useful to us as well.
Yeah.
Let me say one more thing.
Sure.
I mentioned I was raised on a farm. Back on the farm, we had tools that we would not use for a long time to fix or repair things. But when we needed that tool, there was no other way. So in my head, techniques were like tools. So I wanted to use all of them if needed.
Perfect. It's a great example.
I use that same approach in my nutrition practice, and it really stems from having learned that from you, because there are so many tools in a tool belt. The more tools you have available, the more equipped you are to handle whatever problem is presented. Yes. And I try to teach my clients different tools that they can use and just keep in rotation as needed. So thank you for that example.
You're welcome.
Perfect.
So what are two of the most common things that you have helped people with in your practice? I know there could be a million, but what are two of the most common?
Well, I do teach people how to take care of themselves. And the two most things that they need are more water and more sleep. The body heals most when you are asleep, and almost every, quote, medical problem, pain, symptom, whatever, is intensified when the patient is low on water. And that's a major issue in our country.
So hydration and sleep.
Correct.
Is rest as valuable as sleep? Because I know a lot of people say, I lay down to go to sleep, I can't sleep.
And then they get up and start doing stuff because they can't sleep. Is that a good practice?
In my experience, what I teach them is sleep and rest differ in the value. And rest is probably about 75 to 85% as effective as sleep. So if they wake up in the night and can't sleep, don't get up and do stuff, because when you're up and doing stuff, you're not healing like you could. You're probably adding to the problem. Now, that's an interesting question, because oftentimes I find people who are too tired to sleep, and they're the ones that try to have a nap and can't. But once they get it going, they sleep better at nighttime. And the best times to have a nap is before lunch and then early afternoon.
One of the most toxic things that people do is color their hair. And my hand is up. I am guilty of this. I love to play with my hair color. I have for years. And now I love to cover my grays. The best non-toxic hair color that I have found is Polar Hair Care. It is easy. It applies like a shampoo. You only have to leave it on for 10 minutes. It lasts for about 6 weeks. And it doesn't have any of the harsh chemicals and all the nasty stuff in it. Plus, it's infused with reishi, macadamia, jojoba oil. So it leaves my hair feeling better and not dried out and abused. Use the code Debra6334. That's my name, Debra 6334. So if you go to polarhaircare.com/Debra6334, you'll get an awesome discount off your order. So do you have a general rule of thumb for how much water a person should drink to be properly hydrated and how much sleep the average person needs?
The general amount of water is kind of vague, because most people don't measure it. But what it takes is take the pounds of body weight and then divide that by 2 and convert the answer into ounces. So if I weigh 160 pounds, I should drink 8 ounces of water. For most people, that concept works very effectively. And sleep?
Yeah, how much sleep do you think the average person needs, or is there a basic average that you recommend?
According to research, a healthy adult needs about 8 hours. Most people don't get that. People who are ill, have health problems of any kind, need more. Sometimes I recommend 9, 10, even 11 hours of either sleep or bed rest, because when up and around, they're spending energy. When they're laying in bed, their body can remodel, regenerate, and improve. So more is critical for a patient who has a health problem.
So I've had discussions with people when I'm encouraging them to get more sleep, and they basically say, I feel like I don't get anything done. I'm a lazy bum. And my encouragement to them is generally, and tell me if you agree with this, my encouragement to them is generally, when you're up and going, doing, being, all the things, your body is focused on spending the energy there. When you slow down, pause, rest, or sleep, your body shifts focus of the energy to heal, repair, remodel, recover. And some people just need to spend that focus on remodeling. So you might feel like you're doing nothing, but your body is really hard at work.
That's a very good point, because I often treat elderly people, and they're very sick. A lot of them are wealthy, have sufficient money to do whatever they want to do. The one thing they cannot buy is health. So when a patient tells me, When I lay down, I feel like I'm wasting my time. What you're doing is healing. So when you go to have a nap or go to bed early, you can tell your loved ones, I'm going to go heal. I'm not lazy.
You're not lazy. No.
Healing is more important than anything. For example, I have patients who like to have gardens, and they have nice gardens, and the health going downhill because they're not getting enough sleep.
So Denise and I have had some conversations this week with people who I think they're kind of trapped in what I think of as hustle culture or burnout culture. They feel like they have to be productive and earn the right to rest or earn the right to pause. What's your thought on that?
That's a false concept. I think the main reason people need to rest is because in reality, your body is very sacred. It's very important to maintain it, to keep it clean, to keep it maintained properly. Unfortunately, in this day and age, even at the grocery stores, anybody can buy multiple different brands of boosting chemicals, and so
You mean something like an energy drink or something like that?
correct.
Okay.
It's some kind of a stimulant. Now, my grandfather was a farmer. He had horses, and one of his concepts was never beat a tired horse. And I think people who drink that type of drink or take a pill for extra energy are beating themselves and making themselves worse.
I really like that analogy.
Yeah, that's really good.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, oh wise teacher. That was awesome. Okay, you have a large family.
Well, they're not large, but I have a...
Okay, let me rephrase. You have several members in your family.
Correct.
Yes. So there are 8 children.
Correct.
And a mom and a dad. And we were very busy growing up. And you had a thriving practice. And you're volunteering, you did all kinds of stuff.
Active in church
Yep.
callings, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm.
Very active in our lives and in society. So how have you achieved quote unquote balance in the various areas of your life as a man with many diverse responsibilities?
What I do is I use a concept that I teach. I think you teach it too. You can design your life by choice. So I use a wheel with eight spokes, and I often score myself. For example,
You score yourself?
score myself. I write down the words that are important to me at that time. For example, spirituality, family, education, finance. Those are 4. And then I go back to the circle and say, okay, self, how am I doing with this one? And I give myself a number from 0 to 10. 10 means I'm perfect. 0 means I'm not doing it at all. So somewhere on each of those spokes, I put a dot. And then when I get them all done, I go back around the circle and connect them. 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And when I get all done, look at that and say, if that were a wheel, that would suck.
Not smooth rolling.
Not smooth rolling. So the next step would be, okay, what should I focus on? So here's my answer. Obviously, if I have a 7, 8, 9, I don't think if I ever had a 10. But if the number's up there, I leave it alone. If the numbers are 2, 3, 4, or 5, what I do personally is I pick the lowest 3 numbers, and then I say, okay, for the next period of time, I'm going to focus intently on bringing the low numbers up higher to make my life more balanced. And it works.
So, yeah, you're right. We do teach about that.
We do.
In fact, our entire podcast is built around going around and around and around the will.
That's perfect.
So, for example, today's our focus really is on family.
Yep.
We're on the family spoke. So we're interviewing a family member who can also provide wisdom. But so we are doing what you have taught, but you're saying you practice what you preach to find the balance in all the areas of your life.
I try real hard to practice what I preach.
Lead by example.
Pardon?
Lead by example.
Now back to the will, and you mentioned family. I have 8 children. We have 8 children. And I've gone around the wheel, listed the names. Deborah, Deborah, Adam, on around.
The names of each of the children.
Yes, and then ask myself the question, so how am I doing with, say, Adam? How am I doing with Denise? And I score it again. So in my head, that's an extension of family spoke. So I have another circle. Okay.
That's the advanced class on the Wheel of Life.
It works.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah. So that's how you were able to kind of keep balance and keep a smooth rolling wheel, a smooth rolling life as you evaluated your life according to that wheel.
The best I can, yes. Made modifications, made changes, and tried to keep around it.
How often would you assess that?
You as a man, how often would you do it?
Well,
A busy man.
Yeah.
busyness have been. Well, I teach that concept about every 3 months,
So once a quarter.
once a quarter. But if I have a patient who's way out of whack, for example, they may have a really good job, they're making a lot of money, so the money gets a 9 or 10. And have one same patient has a number 2 or 1 because they have a child or health problem or some other issue. So what I do is have them focus intently on moving the low number up, working on that problem, and then do that again in about 30 days.
Reassess in 30 days.
And sometimes people have their life pretty well in order. They may reassess every 6 months or every year, but life goes on. Things change. Things happen. I think I'm very, very big into reassessing.
Taking stock, taking measure.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's it working? That's the bottom line. How is it working?
Because we get to design our life, right? And if we're designing our life on purpose, we can improve the quality of our life on the different spokes. If we're just rolling along, we're also choosing our life on purpose, but we've relinquished the design of our life to the circumstances around us instead of that internal. And so to reassess every 3, 6 months or a year helps us to design it on purpose. Do you find that people have more satisfaction in their life when they do that?
What I've seen in practice with patients applying that concept is this. Many people are very successful, but they have 2 or 3 spoke also. They're not happy because they have conflict in the mind. I had patients who, so their will was not round. I've had patients who they were a 3, a 4, a 3, a 2. They were pretty low numbers, but their life was smooth, well-rounded. They were happy. They loved each other. They lived in small homes. They're conservative type people. And of course, our goal as life goes on is for that wheel to gradually get bigger, so they had more power. I've been around people, and they say, "Oh, Bob's a big deal. It is a big wheel, and if he's a big wheel, he probably has a problem." But he hasn't faced it yet. So that helps people face problems, and many times problems and addressed and not cared for can become like a hole in a bucket. Back to my farm raising, we could have a good bucket with a big hole in it, which made it worthless. And we all have little holes in a bucket, but the big holes were the ones that were draining the most. So from a standpoint of assessment and recommendation, I will always say, let's fix the big holes first. And when you do that, many little holes will fix themselves, because by divine design, the body heals most everything.
Perfect. Sometimes we need to help it have those favorable conditions so we can let it do what it needs to do.
I think we all need to do that.
Yeah.
In many aspects.
So let's shift gears just a little bit and talk about philosophy. Do you personally have a basic philosophy by which you live your life?
I do. Obviously, I'm a person of great faith. I believe in God. I believe in the straight and narrow. When I went to chiropractic college, I learned more than that. The chiropractic concepts helped me to expand my understanding on balance in my life. So, I even though I believe in the straight and narrow, I'm not a perfectionist. I believe you can drive on that narrow pathway and zigzag a little bit, but as long as you don't go too far out. You can kind of get off track, but you come back. Kind of get off track and you come back. So I guess the basic philosophy is to stay in the middle of the road.
That's well said. I've heard you talk to patients in your practice, and I've heard you teach classes about getting a B. Get 80% right. So staying in that 80% keeps you in the middle of the path. Right?
I totally believe that.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So some people have, when they do an assessment, they may have a D or an F or a C in one area of their life, and even though they're perfectionists, and as a perfectionist, they want to do everything right, and I caution them: don't try to do everything right. Just get a B. Don't get a C. Get a B. Maybe a B plus, but not an A. If you get an A, you're probably lying to yourself.
So I was going to say, I like to be an A student. So if someone says, oh, no, I'll get an A, I'm a perfectionist, what would you say to them?
I said, you're a problem.
You are the problem?
When you try to be perfectionist in one area, that's like, I'm going to get a 10 on the wheel. Well, you may cause another problem by trying to solve one perfectly. And I push really hard just get a B. Maybe a B plus, maybe a B minus. Try not to do a C. Don't get an A, and don't get an F. So I tell them, I'm the teacher, you're the patient, and you can do whatever you want to do. It's up to you. As you know, as a consultant, I don't treat people. I teach them how to teach and treat themselves. If I have a husband and wife come, I say to the wife, I'm temporarily going to make you a nurse. And here's what you need to do to help your husband get well, or the other way around. Because people do better when they have support. They do better when they can be monitored and encouraged. If they're doing worse, tell them. Don't try to paint a pretty picture all the time. And if they're doing good, tell them. And I think that makes a big difference, because most of my patients respect what I tell them, and they try to get a B.
Get a B.
And I'm happy with a B.
Okay. And the B keeps you on the straight and narrow.
Close to the middle.
Yeah.
Between the bounds, right? Perfect. So as we wrap up our interview with you, if you could give 2 pieces of advice to people, just generally, to improve their health, what would that be? We've talked about a lot of things already through the podcast about what you tell your patients. So if you had 2 pieces of advice, just for general people, what would it be? What would they be?
You sound like an attorney. Don't drag it on. So the simple answer, and like I said, it's one of many. Because there's so many things, but I think we'll circle back around. More sleep and more water.
I knew it was coming.
That can solve so many problems. And they're free. I mean,
I was going to say, it's almost just stupid simple. They're practically free, if not totally free.
Yeah. That's my...
Sleep and water. Sweet and simple. So does the type of water matter? We talked about the type of sleep, but does the type of water matter?
Of course it matters. And that's a real problem, because some people do not drink water that's pure enough or healthy enough to make them better. For example, I had patients in Colorado Springs who lived in one area. Most of them were country people, and they had wells.
They were country people?
They lived outside of the city, but still close enough that had to have wells, but not city water. And I noticed that most of those people had different types of arthritis. And so when I discovered that general problem, I recommended that they buy water that was more clean, even buy mineral water. And it made a big difference in their lives. But water is different around the world. Generally speaking, if you ask me what water should I drink, the answer would be water that is about the same pH of blood, which is 7.3 or 4. So water that's about 8 is a healthy thing to consume. But
At 8 on the pH scale.
8 on the pH scale,
Okay.
yes. Some people buy units that they can change the pH up or down. I've had them almost kill themselves by drinking water that they have artificially made too alkaline, which can kill them. Oven cleaners are very alkaline.
So they think a little alkaline's good, more alkaline's better?
That's what the men think.
That's what they think.
Did you say the men?
The man.
The men. The male philosophy is a little's good, more's better.
That's, I think, pretty
That's
much
funny.
true.
But it's not.
No.
That's not.
So good, clean water. You can buy filtered water at the grocery store. Is that pretty good?
If you buy water at the grocery store, filtered water is fine. If the grocery store sells the water that's mineral water or spring water, that's even better.
Cool.
Some people buy distilled water because they think if they drink distilled water, it cleans them out. The problem is it cleans too much out.
Because it takes the minerals with it.
Correct. So
Yeah.
they make a problem. They have a different kind of problem.
So spring water is good, mineral water is good, filtered water is good.
Try to keep it around a neutral pH.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Awesome. So sleep and water is
You got it. Let's go take a nap.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, thank you so much for talking with us and letting us delve into your brain.
I've enjoyed it. Your lovely daughters. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dad.
And just so you know, who's ever listening, they've had a lifetime of living the life about a B level.
We're solid B students, Deb.
Wow.
Way to go.
That means we're passing.
Yes.
They can be trusted. So I recommend you do what they recommend.
Thank you for those words of support and encouragement. We love you.
Thank you. I love you too.
Love you, Pop.
Now I need to go have a nap.
Okay.
Thanks for listening to the D times 2 podcast with Denise and Deborah. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Be sure to subscribe and share it with someone who's ready to roll toward a more balanced life. Your support means the world to us. And just a quick note, we're sharing our own experiences and ideas, not professional advice. Always do your own research and talk to a qualified professional before making big decisions. Until next time, keep your wheel rolling strong.